Hi, everybody. We're just getting our techie stuff done. So sit tight if you happen to get on early. We're gonna wait till 10:30 to really get going, but we're just trying to get some of the techie stuff going on. All right, I'm sending you the link. Gonna putting out a link so everybody knows where to find us today. So just give us a second here as we wait for people to be able to join. Hope you guys are all doing good out there. If you haven't submitted a question and you happen to be hopping on, definitely feel free to type it in the chat. And if we can get to it, we'll get to it. If we don't get to it today, then we'll get to it when we do the next one. So I love answering your questions. So I want to be able to help you guys out. Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, because it's all the gifts that the gifts keeps on giving. We have 3 minutes. Not so far. And the link seemed to go okay.
Okay, cool.
I shared a link too. Mm-hmm. I shared a link just on my personal to see how it worked, and it went on my personal too. I just it has a picture of me like right now, but
perfect.
But I just was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see it right now.
Mm-hmm. 2 more minutes. All righty. Hopefully that will kick in for Zoom soon. But I'm going to use it for George. I've been waking up at 5 in the morning and then because he's crying. Riley was cute. She thought that it was me. She got scared and thought Captain passed away and thought it was me crying because of the way he howls. And so yesterday she said, I'm so glad I just figured out it was George. I've been worried about you more. So she's thinking something's wrong and I'm crying, which is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I said, yeah, I'll be a mess when Captain passes.
For sure.
Both of them.
I wouldn't even get words out.
Exactly. Like I will definitely be taking, have to not work for a couple of days. Maybe that's the gardener. Right on time. All their things are closed though, so no, at least it's live, so it's live, and I can say, "Not a tree trimmer out there." I got a scratcher. That can be the tree trimmer sound. Yeah, by now he should be settling down. So, all right, hello everybody. It is now 10:30 in California, and so it's time to start our Ask the Trainer live for Truly Force-Free Animal Training. Welcome. I am Shannon Riley-Coyner, the founder of Truly Force-Free Animal Training, and I welcome you, and I'm super excited to talk about all of the questions we've had submitted this month. I'm going to give a little disclaimer that we have a tree trimmer that just showed up in the backyard. So hopefully that's not too loud, but if you hear background noises, I do apologize. It's we can only coordinate so many things and control so many things in life. As you probably know, if you're an animal owner of any sort, we can't control everything. So we just do the best we can. So welcome. Before we get started with the questions, as always, I want to give you an update of what we have new. Of course, we have the Good Manners course that's online that you can do at your pace. So you can check that out at Truly Force-Free Animal Training. And we also have the Reactive Dog Bundle. And this is a great bundle. If you have a reactive dog, so your dog bark, growls, and lunges at other dogs or people, maybe they're fearful at the vet. This program, we bundled a bunch of the things that we thought would be most beneficial for people who deal with reactive dogs. So if you were dealing with me in person and we did a seminar, I have the 2 webinars of understanding your reactive dog and understanding body language. Super great way to start off and understand why your dog reacts the way they react. Then we have the Reactive Dog Rehabilitation Program. And that is basically, I recorded what I would say if we were meeting face to face, basically the steps I would take, identifying triggers, preventing triggers, how to manage situations, and then how to start rehabilitating your dog so that they go from being fearful to having fun, like on walks or when people come over. And in the bundle, we also added a 1 hour consult. So we would get on Zoom or on the phone if we're not local and have some kind of virtual coaching, so that anywhere you were having trouble, you would still be able to get some help that way. And then that also includes the ebook form of my book, The Evolution of Dog Training. So the bundle is a great thing. You can, with Christmas just around the corner and holidays, it's something you can get gift cards. You can get, do a gift card through Truly Force Free and get it. Then also my book is available on Amazon, which you can get as a paperback like this. You can also get it as an ebook, or there's an audio version. So all also great Christmas gifts for people who maybe are getting puppies, maybe people who are new at training, maybe they got a rescue dog, or if you have somebody who's interested in being a dog trainer, this kind of gives the history of how dog training came about, and also some suggestions on how to start using positive force-free training in your training. So that's my book, The Evolution of Dog Training. So those are all things that, we always have. Now we have a couple specials that I want you to know about, and you'll be kind of the first to know about some of these things. We are going to have a Black Friday sale. And on the Black Friday sale, everything on Truly Force Free is 50% off. So it's a great opportunity if you've been thinking about trying something, whether it's the Good Manners class or a webinar. It's a great opportunity for you to get it 50% off, so you can give it a try. And as always, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free webinar. So there's lots of things that you can get, because I just want to help you guys help your dogs or your animals. And then the other big announcement that we have is we're doing a 12 Days of Christmas giveaway again this year, like we did last year. And there's all kinds of free things, gift cards and virtual appointments. And I'm not even going to tell you all of it because there's just so many. The ebook, but you'll be able to see in your social media feeds. And the more you get engaged, the more likely you are to win. So we really want everybody to win. We actually want to have winners. It's not just a ploy. We want you to be able to help your dog. So we're just trying to make things as accessible and as affordable as we possibly can. So check out those things. And as always, if you have questions, email us at info@trulyforcefree.com. All right. So let's get to some of these questions, because we've got a couple that were submitted throughout the month. So we have we're going to start with one from Deborah. She submitted it on Truly Force Free. And there's a 10-month-old collie that she's trying to train on jumping behavior. So she's a trainer. And so she knows about, and maybe some of you won't know this, so I'm going to kind of go over this a little bit, but I'll read it and then I'll tell you. So she says she knows about turning away, crossing her arms, and not giving attention until the dog has 4 paws on the floor for a few seconds, and then can turn around, but not right away. So there's no chaining events, which I'll explain what chaining is in a minute. What she says here: jump, and then I settle and I get attention. So my question is whether or not the pup can successfully be trained to jump if the owner doesn't follow on the same behavior as I'm doing it. Is there something else I should be doing or advising her? She yells at the pup to stop, and the owner is both a friend and a neighbor and a pet sitting client. I'm always making training suggestions. She has 3 dogs in total, but I am not her hired trainer. So couple things we'll unpack with that question. So one, she was talking about a classic way of training not to jump is to turn your back on a dog if they jump on you, so that they're jumping, that you're not getting your face and your attention. But sometimes when you do that, they'll jump on your back anyway. And then you cross your arms. Basically, you try to be really boring so that they don't want to jump on you. And then you wait for them to sit, and then you give them attention. So that's kind of one way of training not to jump. Another part of her question was chaining. And so if you're watching this and you like, what the heck is chaining? Chaining is just when we come into like basically a habit of things. So a common way that dogs chain a behavior is you teach sit, down, roll over, and all at the same time. So your dog just starts to expect that it goes sit, down, roll over. So those dogs that you say sit, and then they automatically go in a sit and then a down and a roll over, even though you don't say anything. So chaining behaviors can be used in positive ways. It's a lot of ways service dogs get trained to open refrigerators and doors. Chaining happens in agility all the time, where they're doing multiple objects at this one after another. without any kind of break between each behavior. So that's kind of how chaining is. So for her question is there something else she can do? And can the dog learn if there's really inconsistency is essentially what the question is. Inconsistency definitely slows training. It makes it much more difficult because the dog never knows, what is expected, or they start to learn, well, that person I shouldn't jump on, but this person, it's okay to jump on. So consistency is important, but it's also hard sometimes to get humans to be consistent. So some things that I also suggest and I explain. So one thing that happens is she said when the dog jumps on her, she yells at the pup to stop. Um, well, yelling is attention. So, what we have to first realize is reinforcement doesn't always have to be a treat. Reinforcement is anything the dog likes and anything that increases the behavior. So, if the dog likes you talking to them, even if it's in a loud voice and you're in our world, you're yelling, the dog is going to think, oh, well, I'm getting attention. Look, they're, and they're barking or they're jumping, and you're saying, stop, stop. And maybe you're pushing the dog down. Well, now the dog's like, oh, great. I got some hands touching me. I've got them eye contact. They're really engaging with me. So, what we need to do is make it so it's not reinforcing to jump, number one. So turning your back, crossing your arms is fine. Looking away, walking away is all fine. But some dogs also need to know what you want them to do because they get kind of confused like, okay, well, this person's not paying attention to me, but I don't know, how do I get this treat? How do I get the reinforcement I'm looking for? How do I get pet? So what I suggest to people is they have treats pretty much throughout their house, or if there's a place the behavior is likely to happen. This often happens at the front door. So I will have clients put treats in on their porch, something that raccoons and possums won't get into. So it might be a jar in a Tupperware. It just depends on where you live. Put the treats outside the door so that as soon as you walk in the door, they're available and you don't even have to worry about it. So they get a treat and then they sit. And then when you walk in the door, you have the dog sit instantly. So they sit and they get a treat. This way, you're starting to teach them what you want them to do. So instead of jumping, you sit to get attention. And then you try to tell them as they approach you before they have the opportunity to jump. So if a dog's coming near me, I say sit, and they sit and they get a treat. With repetition, this will work. And it will be, kind of fun because you're teaching them something to do. If you have guests coming over, so I just had a private client practice this and she did amazing. So her dog jumps on people. So I went to her house for her private appointment and she had her dog on leash when I got there, which is exactly what I told her to do. And I obviously had treats already on me, but she has treats by the front door now. So when people come in, they ask the dog to sit and they give them a treat, but she has the dog on the harness and a leash. That way, she has some control because it's really hard to control a dog who's just running all over the place. So when you are doing this, you want to make sure there's that consistency and you help them be successful. So treats, high value treats that don't have to be refrigerated, walk in, have them sit. Every time, sit, 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 sit. If they start to learn that sit gets petting, sit gets treats, sit is what you want, they're less likely to jump. But you have to teach them and it has to be consistent. So maybe if you have your neighbor, your friend, and give them that little tip of having treats. Maybe they have treats in their pockets all the time, but something so the dog knows what to do. Because oftentimes in dog training, we're really good at telling our dogs what not to do, but we're not always really good at telling them what we want them to do in that situation. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit because jumping is a big problem. A quick story I'll tell you that's kind of cute is Captain, my lab, which if you've seen any of my pictures, he's the black lab with white speckles. Love him to death. And he was born at my house because his mom was a rescue dog and I used to whelp puppies and I would take in the pregnant females. So I kept him. So his litter, though, at 5 weeks old, was starting to eat canned food and softened kibble. I taught the whole litter how to sit at 5 weeks old. Those puppies just thought that's how why that lady gives us good stuff if we sit. None of those puppies jumped on people when they were 12 weeks old getting adopted, because we had already created that habit before they created the bad habit. Most dogs don't have that opportunity. So most dogs already have the habit. So we have to undo what we don't want. So just like all positive reinforcement, we ignore what we don't like and we praise what we like. And that sounds like might be the piece that we're missing in this question is you're ignoring what you don't like, but we need to praise and really reinforce the stuff that we do like. So I hope that that question helps you a little bit. And you probably hear a little bit in the background, my gardener is trimming the tree. So hopefully this isn't too hard to hear. That's why I leaned in a little. So I thought maybe the microphone will pick me up and not the tree trimmer. So let's go to the next question. Now, this one is by, is that another Nancy? Oh, no, that one was Deborah. This is by Nancy, and she sent it through Truly Force Free. Nancy wrote a lot of information, so I'm going to paraphrase some of it just so we don't spend the whole time me reading the whole thing. But she has a 7-month-old Cane Corso Golden Retriever mix. Sounds like it was an accidental breeding. And maybe some neglect after before she adopted this puppy. But what her big concern is she is seeing that he has a hard time getting up off the floor and his toes kind of walk. He kind of duck walks. And he's having some potential problems with his back half of his legs. It sounds like his hips or his back legs. So then her question is, how long should I wait to get him some professional care? I was thinking water or hydrotherapy might be a good start as he continues to grow, and whether we should be placing him on some kind of glucosamine or joint support. So she talks about a whole bunch of different therapy. Now, and she did talk about that she's talked to her vet about this. So her vet knows, and the vet has recommended x-rays to start. And I fully agree with that. This is a situation, it's a little beyond training, but it is a part of, since I'm a vet tech, whenever I'm looking at any behavior, like it sounds like he's having a hard time getting up and he has kind of a abnormal gait. So anytime I see any client, like if I see a client whose dog is all of a sudden having accidents in the house, or I had a client whose dog was going out on walks, but then they had to go get a car to bring her back because she wasn't walking back. I always am looking at medical first if it's something acute or it's something abnormal. So in this situation, if this puppy was in my puppy class, I would be telling you, go to the vet, start with your general vet. It'll be a little less expensive. Have them do basic hip x-rays, spine x-rays, and to see if there's any kind of deformity, because that's the first step we have to do. And x-rays are going to show you what the bones are doing. It doesn't sound like this is something where you would have to do blood work first if you're trying to be cautious and a little bit conservative on your veterinary care. Start with x-rays. Then you're going to go from there. It sounds like there's probably something orthopedic going on, and this will depend on your veterinarian. Some general veterinarians are more schooled and have done a more continuing education on orthopedics. Some do not. If your vet does not, that's totally fine. Your vet should stay in their lane of what they're comfortable with. Then you might want to go to an orthopedic doctor to see what the possibility is. And without knowing that x-ray is the first place to start. Because if there's surgery, you'll have to talk to the orthopedic doctor depending on what it is. Is it hips? Is it spine? Is some other part of their leg deformed? They'll tell you if surgery is an option. Sometimes surgeons want to wait until after the growth plates close, so they won't do a surgery for a while. Some want you to do the surgery right away because if they continue to grow abnormally, it will affect them as adults. So it's a tricky thing that you have to follow. So I would say go get your x-rays from your general vet, then either go to orthopedic or stay with your vet. Then there are things that can be done, but without a diagnosis, we can't do any of these things. But if surgery is an option or surgery is not an option, there is canine physical therapy now. So if you check out, I have a podcast on Truly Force Free. .com that I speak with one of my friends who is a dog physical therapist. So we talk about physical therapy and dogs. And so you can look into dog physical therapy. There's a lot of things you can do with that. And I've seen amazing things happen in my own dog, Captain. He hurt his spine last year, and it ended his agility, and he really has to live a modified life now, but he's happy. But we had to do physical therapy for a long time. There is hydrotherapy. There's, treadmills that are water treadmills. Um, Glucosamine and chondroitin is probably never a bad thing for a large breed dog. And with a Cane Corso Golden Retriever mix, you're going to have a large breed dog. So using glucosamine and chondroitin is never a bad thing. That's not going to hurt. But it's definitely nothing. You have to start with the diagnosis. And the only way to start that diagnosis is an x-ray. If the x-ray, that's going to tell us, because we can't go anywhere from there, because the x-ray is going to say, yes, this is a deformity. No, this isn't a deformity. If the x-rays are clean, which it doesn't sound like they will be, the next step would be to look at neurology to see if there's a neurologic component to why the dog's feet turn out and don't lay properly. Unfortunately, this is something that you're going to have to start. She mentions that she doesn't want to go down the road of surgery and a continuous therapy, and down the spiral of, medicine, unless it's indeed appropriate to head in that direction. So I would definitely say that x-rays are the first thing you have to do. Without x-rays, you can't move forward. So I hope that that helps. And that helps anybody. Anytime your dog has something, if they have pain, they're not going to be able to perform as well. So that dog that I was telling you about, she would go on walks. And then when she came home, she would go out, but then she couldn't get back. So I referred them back to their veterinarian, and she ended up having hip dysplasia. And she had been having hard time on walks for years. She had seen trainer after trainer who just kept giving her different solutions. And they were like, we don't know what else to do. So I was watching her, and I saw her gait change, and then she went to the vet. So we can't help them if we don't know the underlying cause. So no matter what. So if your animal starts going to the bathroom, a cat out of the litter box, or a dog in the house, and they were house trained or litter trained before that, definitely look at medical, because there could be a bladder infection, there could be diabetes, kidney infections, so many things. And no amount of training is going to fix that if they have a medical problem. So my tree trimmer seems like he's getting closer, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It seems pretty loud now. I'm like, what's he doing, trimming the tree down right next to the window? So sorry about that. Life just happens sometimes. You just got to go with it. So the next question that I have is an interesting question. It comes from a Nepal Animal Welfare and Rescue Center. It was sent to us through LinkedIn. So I'm super excited to be able to help somebody, a rescue and research welfare. It's a research center. So the person that wrote this says, we have a dog that jumps into the gutter once free to roam without supervision, and eats the trash, even though it has enough for food. Please give us a solution. So I think it sounds like that either the typing was a little fast or there's a little broken English. So what I think it's saying is they have a dog that's at this welfare research center. When he gets to have freedom, I'm not sure if there's just a big trench that they get to play in, but they have some freedom. He eats all the trash, even though there's plenty of food. So ironically, I had a client just yesterday that had a dog she couldn't let her dog in the backyard. He was a little rotty because he would eat. I mean, she said he literally will dig to eat, find a rock to eat, a bark to eat, and just eats whatever. So this is kind of ironic that this is the same question. So something that people need to realize is, yes, dogs eat, obviously, and he's food. But sometimes when they're seeking these things, they're seeking something to do. They're seeking some mental stimulation. They're seeking entertainment. So think about a 2-year-old child. They eat plenty and they're fine, but you leave them in the house and you've got crayons on the table. Well, your walls probably will have coloring on them if you didn't provide paper. And if you don't provide anything, they're going to climb on the TV, they're going to climb on the bookshelf. They will find entertainment. And sometimes what dogs do is they find entertainment when we don't provide enough mental stimulation. So, in this situation, especially in a rescue or somewhere where the dogs have to be contained or confined for a majority of their day or parts of their day, mental stimulation and food toys would be a great benefit. So, there's a couple things here. So, just while they're in confinement, while they're in their kennels, instead of feeding them out of bowls, feed them out of food toys. So, that could be a Kong wobbler, a kibble nibble ball. It could be a Buster food cube. It could be a water jug that has holes cut in it and kibble put in it so they can roll the water jug or water bottle around. Um, it can be a box that has kibble put in it with newspaper that they can shred up and then eat the kibble. It can be in stuffed Kongs. So you can get a Kong and stuff it with their canned food or dry food, soak it, freeze it. If you look online, you can find all kinds of recipes and ideas on how to stuff a Kong. So you can have them eat out of a Kong, out of all of these food toys. Remove those bowls. Let them investigate and use their brain instead of just eating mindlessly. I mean, it's different. It's like us if we have a garden and we go out and we pick all the vegetables and we grow all the vegetables. We're going to enjoy that salad a lot more than if we just, bought it from a fast food place and sat and ate it in front of TV. That's like mindless. It's not engaging. So we want to make the eating process something that's also provides you get to have two things at once. So you can feed and give them mental stimulation at the same time. And some of these toys will give them physical exercise too. So Kong wobbler, kibble nibble ball, they have to run around, push it with their nose. Stuffed Kongs, the classic Kongs, will be a little more calming for most dogs, although some dogs will throw them in the air and have fun with them that way. So give more food toys in the kennel, in the dog run. That you could give bones if they're not already getting bones to chew. Anything that they like that will give them some entertainment. Because I'm sure at a rescue and a welfare facility, you're not able to give them attention a ton because you probably have a lot of dogs. Just like rescues and shelters and those things, they give a little attention, but they don't get a lot. So that's what I would do as one prevention. Oh, we have a howler. One of the dogs staying with me has now decided he wants to be part of the live. So that's George. He's crying. He likes to howl. He's howling at the tree cutter. So sorry for that distraction. But the next thing I would say, so in the crate, in the kennel, give them food toys. And instead of feeding 2 meals a day, maybe you feed 4 meals a day. So that doesn't mean more food. That just means feed it in smaller portions more frequently. So if you fed 2 cups a day, give a half a cup in the morning, half a cup midday, half a cup in the afternoon, and a half a cup in the evening, all in these food toys. You could also obviously incorporate other things to do. Another great food toy that I like to do is do a giant ice cube where I get a bowl and I put water or chicken broth or beef broth in it. I throw a stuffed Kong in it. I throw milk bones and treats and spoonfuls of peanut butter, and then I freeze it. And then I let it out and this is obviously for outside. I put it outside and then the dogs can eat the ice cubes and the broth, and then they get a chunk of peanut butter. And then as it melts and they eat it away, then they have a stuffed Kong inside. That can give them hours of entertainment. Then when you are letting them, out to roam, maybe they won't have that need. Now, there is a chance that this dog also has pica, which is a medical condition where they want to eat all the things. If it becomes that, sometimes they have to get used to wearing a basket muzzle or something to prevent them from eating things. So that would be an extreme case. And without more information, I can't give advice on that. But that would be something that you train them, desensitize them to wearing a basket muzzle, and that would prevent them from eating things just everywhere if they have such a strong behavior. But the other thing you can do is, I don't know what this outdoor area with this gutter looks like, but if it's just like short grass or cement, you could also put some of the food toys out there. That is what I advised my client that I saw yesterday, is in her backyard, she's going to start using those food toys that I was just explaining for the in the kennel or the crate in her backyard. So her dog has something to do rather than look for naughty things to do in her backyard. So when we had our session, I hold many of my private sessions in my backyard. So I had food toys everywhere. The dog never chewed on anything he wasn't supposed to, but he played with the food toys for the full 2 hours because it was an initial consult. So it was a 2 hour appointment. The dog played and chewed on Kongs and played with the kibble nibble and played with the Kong wobbler the whole time. And he was so much more relaxed at the end because he had appropriate toys to play with. So I hope that that kind of helps. There's a lot. Sometimes I get these questions and I want to ask more questions because there's so many things I could give you suggestions for, but I hope that gives you a little answer. So I think that's going to be our last question for today. But I do want to remind you to, if you have a question and you want to have me talk about it in the next month's live, then definitely email us at info@trulyforcefree.com. Post us on Facebook and Instagram, any of the social medias. We are working on trying to have this so it streams live to all the social medias at once. So LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of these things. So you guys can all see it in the different, all the different aspects of it. So we're working on that. Hopefully next month we will have that. But don't forget, it's November 10th already. So Christmas is just around the corner. Start thinking about your Christmas shopping. Check out the book. It can be given on Amazon, or you can get an ebook version or the audio version. Definitely remember our Black Friday. So the Friday after Thanksgiving, 50% off and you're going to have a code, that Black Friday 50. Easy, and everything on the website will be 50% off. And then we have the 12 days of Christmas, and I hope you all participate in that because it's really fun for us to give out prizes to everybody. And then in the new year, we have some New Year's resolution specials going on. So we're here to help. Just like always, I tell you, I created Truly Force Free Animal Training so that I could reach people anywhere in the world at any time who wanted to have access to force-free positive training. And so enjoy your time. And I want you to have a great day and train your dogs with empathy and compassion. And I just saw a little message, so I want to say a shout out to Danae. Hi, Danae. And it's good to see you. And I hope Sam as well. And we will see you guys next month. So have a great month, and I'll see you next month. Bye, guys. Got a message.